Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year. It is 2025, the first episode of the Bamboo Season podcast. I am your host, Sober Wellness Coach Dorian Wormsley, and this podcast is sponsored by Dorian Wormsley Wellness, a wellness business built to help you build a strong mind, strong body, and clear mind. Sorry, brain fart. Today's guest, so as you know, I'm a fitness coach, in case you were wondering, but I do train women in person. Been doing it for a couple of years now. So my guest today is also in the fitness space. I'm super excited to have the first professional athlete on the Bamboo Season podcast. Her name is Jasmine Lucas.
Hello.
Oh, the voice went down. She's a little shy. It's okay. As we talk, it'll go down. But you are a IFBB Pro,
Correct.
so professional bodybuilder.
Yes.
Now, I personally, I don't know about you guys that are pros, but I personally see you guys as athletes. Do you guys call yourself that also?
Absolutely. We are athletes. However, it is kind of like a what do you want to say? Like a beauty pageant in a way.
Yeah.
So a lot of people refer to it as that.
But go ahead.
But I was going to say, I didn't know it was going to be the first episode of 2025. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited about that. And thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you
of
for thinking of
course.
me. This is my first podcast. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
excited.
you know, I definitely think they're athletes because if you look at any sports, they're all different.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's basketball, football,
right.
the real athletic ones, but then there's stuff like golf that's in tennis, or not
Right.
tennis, golf and bowling,
Right.
which are more mental. Like you have to hit that ball
Absolutely.
the same every time. You got to throw that bowling ball the same every time.
Right.
With you guys, you got to hit that pose.
It's individualized.
You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
got to hold that. I haven't done it, but I've seen and watched people talk about how you can have the best physique, but if you don't pose right and show it off the right way,
Correct.
you're going to lose to a girl with bigger quads or whatever. You know what I mean?
And that's funny that you say that about posing because that was literally my feedback. So my very first, not first show, but maybe second show and third show, I placed top 5, but my feedback was literally, you would have done a lot better if your front pose was on point. So
Wow.
posing is everything. Not only your physique, obviously, but posing, suit, tan, hair, makeup, like it's a whole thing. So again, like a beauty pageant. So
And, you know, I came across your page, I've maybe through a mutual friend or something like that. And what I
Yes.
liked was the fact that you were into fitness, the passion. And I don't get the vibe, and I don't know you enough yet, but I don't get the vibe that it's like, hey, look at me. It's more like, I want to inspire you to show you can do this shit too. And those are kind of people I like to follow. Whenever I come across people in the fitness space or mental health space where they're like that, I want to follow them because you are what you feed yourself.
right.
You know, if you're just following Shade Room all the time, you're following fights, you're following bullshit all the time, that's where your mindset's at.
Just
And
an LA boy. No.
but listen, within reason, there's some I follow. So I love the show The Office. So I follow like 5 pages of them.
Right.
To where, you know, sometimes I want that humor, but for the most part, I want to see people like you and other athletes that I follow because the days I don't want to feel like working out, I go through my story. Oh shit, Jasmine went hit glutes.
Oh, I love that.
Let me go hit legs.
Motivation.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why, like, I have a friend named Adam. He's in his 40s, very in shape, and I love following because I see him. Okay, his ass is going. I got to go today,
Right.
and that's what I hope when I post for people, they get the same thing. So that's why I initially followed you. Then I saw you were a pro, and I don't know if I told you this or not, but there was a point 2 years ago now. What are we in 2025?
Yes.
2022.
Okay.
The beginning of 2022, I had got a coach and began prepping for a show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, bro. So I was new into fit. I was a group fitness coach at Orange Theory,
Okay.
and then I started doing personal on the side. And I had a mentor. I ain't gonna say his name to give him any kind of fuck him, but he wasn't a good coach. So he got in my ear. It was almost like a movie you see. You know what I mean? Like a movie you see where that person gets in your ear, has you do shit you shouldn't be doing. So he kept putting in my ear that, like, you know, you want to be. Before I get to that, and when I got into fitness, all for mental. You know, I
Right.
fell from a 4-story window.
Yes.
I had PTSD and anxiety, and fitness is what helped me get back right.
Yeah.
And that's what I got and became coach. Never into aesthetics.
Okay.
He was a bodybuilding type trainer,
Right.
coach. He had his own gym. And he kept putting it in my ear, like, bro, come on, do a show.
Why
do a
not?
show,
Because
right?
you're already in the gym.
Yeah,
You're
do a show.
surrounded
Like,
by
you do a
it.
show,
Yes.
you do a photo shoot, you can
Right.
sell it, and this and that. And I'm like, nah, bro, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But after a while, the shit started to seep in. I was like, all right. I get back from this trip. I went to a music festival, and I was like, all right, give me the diet, give me the workouts, and I'll do it. So he was like, all right, I'll train you for free. You he pretty much just told me to train me for free. So I took it serious. I'm like, I'm not gonna waste this man money because I know if you get a coach, it's pretty expensive, right?
Very expensive.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna take it serious, and that's how I started cutting alcohol, was through him.
Oh, nice.
It's like, shout out to him. It's like, I was like, I'm done drinking. Let me do this. So I started doing it for like 2 weeks. But even before then, he did what most coaches probably shouldn't do. He started pushing things. Like, come on, man, you gotta You gotta do a little this, a little that, right? Just the drug stuff. And in my head, I've only seen steroids and that kind of stuff on TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
So I didn't do it. Then after time, I was starting to lose weight because I was doing the nutrition, I was doing everything, I was losing some weight.
Right. He
was like, look, man, you're gonna go through all this, and somebody on that stage is gonna be juicing up, and you're gonna lose. You're gonna do all this just to lose?
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, fuck, you right. If I'm gonna do this shit, let me go all in. All right, let's do it. So he ended up giving me steroids, right?
Okay.
I had no idea about them, but I trusted him. As soon as he did the injection, this is my first time saying this on fucking podcast. Everybody's gonna know. Oh well, I don't care. I want them to know because that was 2 years ago. So I've done almost every drug. But so as soon as he does it, he starts fucking going off. Like, whoa, you don't know what you just did. And I'm like, what the fuck?
What? Yeah, that's scary.
He's like, you about to unleash the beast. He was like, Trembolone, look it up. So I look it up and I'm like, oh, bro, what? It's like the top thing that male bodybuilders use for whatever. And I was like, fuck it, I'm in it, let's go. So I did it for 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I see why people do it. It's a fucking cheat code. The results were crazy. And I was a machine, like didn't get tired and all that. But then at the 6, 7, 8 week mark is when side effects started to kick in. I'd wake up every morning at 4 a.m., wet, bed just sweat.
Oh, night sweats or something like that.
4 hours of sleep, didn't care. I go do my cardio, Orange Theory, go train, and I was just a machine. I got to a real good point, but then my body started to feel weird. And I remember mentioned it to him. He didn't give a fuck. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. Something's not right. And I was like, I felt and understood. He just wanted me to win.
Correct.
To say he was my coach.
Exactly.
He didn't care about my health. So I ended up quitting, leaving cold turkey, leaving the gym, going to another gym, and I started eating regular now.
Yeah.
And my body started to fill out. I got to like 200 pounds, 8% body fat. I was looking
just
good.
By eating and
just
training.
By eating regular. Right?
Yeah.
But I was eating bad stuff.
Okay, so like a dirty bulk.
Yes.
Okay.
I was doing, let me tell you this. I was doing a box of crumble cookies, all 4.
Oh, I'm a cookie monster, so the fact that you said crumble.
4,
I'm
all 4.
like...
all 4.
Okay, the 4
and a dozen donuts a night.
What division? I guess you didn't go through with it, right?
No.
But
it was.
Did you know what division
just
you
physique.
were?
Is it physique? Classic physique? Just
Classic.
board shorts.
Boy shorts would be men's physique.
Yeah, that.
So
just
classic
that.
would just be the undies.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna go for. And like I said, I got to a good point. So then I started eating like that, and I started to fill out and look good. And I saw this other bodybuilder training at the new gym I was at, and I told him, he was like, "Bro, you need to stop. It ain't gonna last forever." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm looking fire. What the fuck are you talking about?" And I kept doing it. Within 1 month, 1 month, I went from 200 pounds, 8%, 200 pounds, 20+% body fat.
Oh yeah.
So I gained like 20 pounds of fat, and you can just see it. Abs gone, all that gone. But the crazy thing about it is, even when I was at that shredded most moment, and I looked at myself, I still didn't feel like I looked how I looked, like that body dysmorphia. I'm like,
oh, that's huge in this sport.
And once I left his gym and all that, the next few months were tough. I was like, not depressed, but it was just like mentally fucked.
It's a mental game. And that's one of the things that I would say is behind the scenes of bodybuilding that a lot of people don't really realize or they don't know of. The whole body dysmorphia, the mental aspect of the sport. And then one last thing is just the cost. Like you said, like everything's super expensive going all the way up to show date. The body dysmorphia. You can look at me right now and say, wow, you look fit, you work out. People tell me that all the time. But in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm okay right now, but I'm not my best. Like you haven't seen me at stage. And even when we're that lean, it's like some people get so hooked on the look. And it becomes like obviously the look isn't healthy. You're not supposed to look stage lean all year round. And if you do, you got a bad fucking coach. Like, like you're not supposed to look that way. So as you're reversing out of your diet, and did I say that's another hard part? Yeah. So that's another behind the scenes part that's super hard, harder than prep. So as you're reversing, you're obviously slowly putting on more weight. And so that is the part where people get all, in their head about like, oh my God, I'm fat, I'm bloated, I look like this, I look like that. When in reality, they only put on about like 2 to 5 pounds above stage weight. But in their mind, they're so hooked on that stage lean look. It's just, it's mental. Like you definitely have to be strong. If you're not good up here, you should not do the sport at all. And the whole reverse diet thing, like I would say that's harder than prep. Prep, you're just doing stuff over and over and over. It becomes a habit. You're eating the same foods. You're waking up at the same time. I'm training. I'm doing my fasted cardio all at once. And then, it just, you come to show day and you're just like, okay, cool, I made it. And then reversing out of that, you'll see people eat, like you said, you were eating donuts and crumble.
Ooh,
you see people bring that after, I'm sure you've seen shows people behind stage, their friends are bringing them donuts. That's not what you should be eating. The first thing, you need to be eating full meals.
Yeah.
Because you can easily, it's called messing up the reverse. So you can easily put in the wrong stuff and you won't stop eating because your body's been so restricted.
Yeah, that was me.
Your body's been so restricted for so long, and your leptin and ghrelin hormones, they're not telling you that you're full. So people actually develop like eating disorders and stuff and gut issues from overly eating and eating the wrong stuff because they can't stop. So
it's crazy because that was me, and it lasted for about 4 months, and it got back to where I was like, it was almost like I was watching myself do it. Like I knew I shouldn't be eating all that, but every night it was a routine. I would order it on DoorDash. As DoorDash picked it up and I could see him coming up, I get on my phone again and order the donuts, and they would come. And I was doing it. I remember one time it got so bad to where I went to all you can eat sushi, and I sat there by myself. I ate sushi, whatever, for like an hour. Then after sushi, I went next door to this crepe place. I got some crepes. Then I walked to the gas station and got some Twinkies. Right? Bro, my stomach felt like this. So I put my finger down my throat and made myself throw up.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then I made a doctor appointment and I told the doctor, I was, hey bro, I was doing steroids. I was doing this and that. I was like, I can't stop. What's going on? Like, I was really fearful that something was really going on.
Right.
And like I said, it's mental because after a while I had to get myself right. And I was like, man, this time will pass. This phase will pass. This too shall pass. And it did eventually, but, I own up to it because I decided to take that stuff and it was a learning lesson. And what it taught me also was it made me want to become a better coach myself, especially because I coach women.
Right.
They're not always confident in the gym. They're not always safe in the gym. It's like keep watching them, whatever. Like if I can give them that comfort and safety and help them, I'm not going to be like the hell that guy was.
Yeah, I love that.
Because that guy would push it onto females too. And I'm like, bro,
that
ain't what I'm on. This woman just has 2 kids and she just wants to be able to walk without losing her breath. She just wants to be able to go on vacation and feel good.
It's not that serious.
But yeah, so I went through that bad experience as a guinea pig for others.
Yeah.
And maybe you've had a bad coach before too. And one thing you just said too was like, we get caught in the stage look. Like I didn't do stage, but I got to a point where I was 8%, 200 pounds. And
you
I
really
saw
like that look.
For the next few months in my head, I kept thinking like, damn, I need to do another cycle. Even though I said I was done, I was like, I need to do another one.
Just to get back to that.
Because it's a fire look.
Right.
But
and
so
it gets addicting with people.
It's not realistic. And that's what it's so unfortunate about with social media. They see the people that look good all of a sudden and they think like 24/7 that's how they look. Like, nah, they low-key probably got a little slight lipo for the photo shoot or, you know what I mean? I just wish more people were open and honest about it because they sell these programs to these people without just being honest. Just be honest. Like, this woman is going to spend her hard-earned money thinking she's going to look like you.
Right.
When in reality, you're not even like that 24/7.
No.
You trained 16 weeks hard.
Oh, yeah. You train. Well, first you go into a whole bulk, like what you did. You gain weight, and then you cut down, and then you cut you're cutting all the way until stage weight. So it's like, it's a process. And like you said, people are giving these like false perceptions and people are looking on social media like, oh, this girl looks so great. This girl looks so good like this. And how do you get this? How do you get that? And people are selling like 3-month, 90-day programs. Yeah. Girl, this is not going to happen in 90 days,
No.
So, and that's why I like to like, you probably see my story. I post my check-ins right now, to show like, this is a normal look. This is my normal body. You need to feel secure within stage lean, maintenance, bulk season. You need to be comfortable in all phases of bodybuilding. So a lot of people struggle, and I'm glad that, again, like I'm pretty mentally strong because I'm still new to the sport. I mean, I only did my first show in 2023. So it'd be 2 years ago now, June of 2023. So I've only done a total of 5 shows. So I got my pro card really fast.
Yeah, I feel like when I first followed you, I don't know how long ago it was, I got to check Instagram, but I saw the progress and I was like, because in my head I was like, most people take a couple of years, some girls. And I saw and I was like, okay, show pro. And I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck? So Jasmine, the IFBB Pro
IFBB,
right now,
yes.
but it didn't happen overnight.
No.
Let's take a little journey backwards
Yes.
of how you even got into bodybuilding. What was your upbringing like? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay,
like
yeah,
San
area.
Francisco.
Hey.
Yeah, that area. I grew up in Fairfield, so it's about like 45 minutes up north from San Francisco. And I didn't play sports. I was a cheerleader as a senior, and that's it.
Okay.
Parents, there's no background in sports or physical activity, nothing like that. My dad works out, but he's one of those people that'll work out hard, work his ass off, sweat, and he still has that big, like you can't tell that he works out. Puts in the work, but it's all diet. Again, it's like if you're not eating right, then you won't see it. So how I got into bodybuilding, I've always worked out my whole life. But again, I was stuck in that cycle. I had no idea how to eat. I was stuck in that like skinny fat is what I call it.
Okay.
That's how I looked. I would work my ass off, sweat, do hours of cardio, eat low calories, probably like 1,000 a day. My chicken, rice, and broccoli, what people think you have to eat, when you're trying to lose weight. And I was just sick and fed up. And I'm like, what are people doing? How do they look toned and muscular all the time? Like, why can't I figure that out? So people laugh when I tell them this, but I'm like, I didn't know bodybuilding was a thing until literally like 2-3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was scrolling on social media. I came across this lady in this like sparkly bikini. And I was like, this is the look. I need this. How do I get this? So I, start talking to some friends, some girlfriends that's done a show before. They're like, oh yeah, I start asking him, who's your coach? Got some recommendations, start looking through the pages. And then I came across Fit Body Fusion, which I'm on that team now. So I found that and I reached out. And from there, I just took off. Like I hired my first coach in March of 2023.
Okay.
And I just thought in my head, I had no idea, again, about the sport. I thought, oh, I'm small, I'll be on stage. I just wanted to do a show to be in the best shape of my life and finally get fit.
Yeah.
Look tone. And I thought, oh, I'd be on stage in 6 months. I'm not big. First coach told me, she's like, you need to grow. And I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you need to put on some muscle mass. And I'm like, oh, okay, so how do you do that? And she's like, you eat and you train consistently. So I'm the type of person, when I say I'm gonna do something, I get it done. And there's no going back. There's no, self-doubt. It's like, okay, no, I'm committed to doing this. So from March all the way until December of 2023, I trained 5 to 6 times a week. I ate more food than I ever ate before. I did specific training, so structured workouts, not just finding little workouts on Pinterest and doing my little HIIT workouts and stuff like that. It was a back day, a shoulder day, a tricep, a quad, leg, glute day, like intense workouts. And again,
real quick, let me ask you. So when you, from the March to December, you say you ate a lot of food. Around roughly, how many calories were you eating?
So carbs. So for me, everyone's different. My carbs probably got up to like maybe like 240, the highest, which isn't really that high. And then my fats were maybe at 65 at the highest, and then protein was 130. So I don't know. That's probably like around 1,900 or something like that.
Okay.
So around 1,900
I
calories.
just want the viewers to hear, because some women that I train also, when I tell them like, hey, I need you to get as close to 2,000.
Oh yeah.
Or at least 16. I always say a low number just so they don't get wild.
Get nervous.
Like, at least 16.
Right.
And then once you get 16, then we'll go 18.
Yeah.
Because they get the idea like, I'm going to get fat.
Yep.
And I always try to remind them, like when I'll reach out to a bodybuilder friend or whatever, hey, how much calories are you eating right now? Like that's why I can show them, and like, you're not going to get like that. Because even bodybuilders, takes time, right? Like it takes years.
I wish I can get like that. I wish I can put on weight that fast, but it's not.
Another thing you said too, I want to touch on before we continue your story is you said you had a structured workout plan. You weren't just going in there. So one thing I like to say is people who aren't getting the results they want from going to the gym consistently is because they're doing what I like to call adult PE.
Oh yeah.
They're going in, working out, doing
Adult
whatever.
PE.
Adult PE. They see what they see on TikTok.
Yep.
And it's always some shredded guy doing these crazy. I'm like,
Jumping
bro,
jacks.
he didn't get jacked by doing burpee, backflip, whatever bullshit. You do boring. Let me ask you this. I mean, wasn't it probably redundant and boring in a sense?
It's boring because
Same
it's
shit, right?
consistency.
Period.
It's the same stuff.
You heard it from a pro.
You heard it from a pro. It's like success is boring. If you want to get to where you want to get to, it is boring because it's day in and day out. No matter how you feel, it's what they say? Follow plan, fuck your mood. Or,
Ooh,
because
say it again.
Stick to the plan, fuck your mood. Because literally that's what it is. If I wake up and I'm saying, I don't feel good. Okay, well, do you want to compete or do you not? What do you want? You ask yourself that every morning, and people get so stuck in the, well, I wasn't feeling it today. And it's like, those are the days that matter, because when you show up, now you have discipline, not only consistency. It's like you have the willpower now to say, okay, well, I'm committed and I'm doing it. So where we ended up.
December. So you said you
December,
eating and working out structured days to December
so,
2023.
Around 1,900 calories was where I got to. And again, everyone's different because your metabolism, whatever, I was used to eating a lot of processed foods. And I learned that later on that, eating more whole foods and working on your metabolism, like that helps a lot. So bad metabolism, bad relationship with food. So in July of 2023, as I'm, going through my first phase with my coach, I'm adding muscle. I break my toe.
Oh no.
My big toe at the gym. Picked a weight up off the rack, slid right out of my hands, right onto my big toe, a 25-pound plate. At that moment, I could have said, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this. Average person would have said that because, again, it's my first time. I've never done a show. I'm like, why am I working out so hard and I'm breaking toes and stuff? Like, I was in a boot for 3 months. Imagine walking around, still going to the gym, still doing my life in a boot. Who would have known it would have took that long? I couldn't get surgery because toes the tissue heals back on its own. So got through that. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I got through this. Let me keep going. January, I start my first prep. And prep is when you essentially are cutting down to get ready for a show. So I started in January. We set the show for like June. So that gave us 6 months. Again, about 23 to 26 weeks. So it's a long time. And that was after just going through training for the last, March through December, what is that, like 9-10 months?
Yeah.
Not even knowing what's going to happen, just consistent work, consistent grind. January, I start prep. The first thing my coach says to me, we're cutting out all processed foods. I only want you eating whole foods. I had no idea what whole foods was. I was just so ignorant to everything. And she's like, I only want you eating potatoes, veggies, fruits, rice, salads, anything whole. If you're eating peanut butter or, anything like that, it needs to have 3 ingredients or less. And so that was my hardest struggle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally cried. I'm like, I don't think I could do this. I'm not going to do it anymore. No. What do you mean all whole food? I'm someone like you, the crumble cookies, the pizza, Thai food, sushi, every week we're big foodies. So living in Vegas, it's tough, it's so convenient to eat here, eat there. We have all the great restaurants. So it took me, I cried or whatever. It took me a day. And I was like, again, I'm someone that's committed. I'm like, you know what? I came this far. I'm not going to just stop. So I got through the prep. I had my first show in June of 2023. I came out first in open, first in novice. And people don't know what that means. So open is when you are competing in your class, so your height level. Novice is if you've never won your class. And then true novice is when you've never done a show before. So I had 3 different areas of, my competition. So first in novice, first in open, and second in true novice. So that automatically qualified me. Yeah. And again, my first show, I had no idea what I was expecting.
First in open, second in true novice.
First in open,
so you beat people who have been doing it.
Yeah.
And then somebody else was
true novice second, novice first, and open first.
Okay.
So that automatically qualified me for a national show.
Wow, that first show.
First show. I went to nationals 2 weeks later. I'm sorry, 1 week later.
Yeah.
1 week. Went to nationals. I placed third. Very second show. I was 2 spots away from getting my pro card. And that was crazy because I was only like, you know what? I just was doing a show just to get in shape.
Yeah.
I had no idea where this was going to take me. I said, if I didn't do well, I would have stopped. Like I wasn't going to keep doing it after the first just because it's hard. It's discipline. It's not a normal thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So after placing that second show, third, 2 weeks later, I did my very third show, my second national, and I placed fifth. And that was top 5. And for that, the judge looked right at me. He said, you know what? You're the leanest you've ever been. He's only seen me twice. You're the leanest you've ever been, but your front pose. So go back to what you said earlier about the posing.
Yeah.
He said, your front pose is off. I can't tell how lean you are on stage. So it's all an illusion. And my division is bikini. And what they look for is a balance. So upper body to lower body balance, cap shoulders, full round glutes, no striations because I'm not an anatomy chart. Those are other those are other divisions where they really are super hard and very, very lean. Bikini's more just that like small shoulder cap, round glutes, hourglass shape, and split kind of like tie in between your glutes and hamstring area. A very slim waist, but not 6-pack.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
It is. I mean,
it's a lot.
And it's crazy. Once I did that short period with like coach and stuff, I was like obsessed for a while. Like, damn, I would love to do it. And you get to learn and see all the classes and stuff like that, like the wellness for women, like the wellness and all these things. Cause it's due to a lot of what we've been told to as kids and marketing, stuff like that, to think like you got to do a lot of cardio.
Yep.
Eat little, salad, this and that, and you'll get skinny. You know, if you lift weights, you're going to get big and bulky. And
right.
I know women who do bodybuilding, or not bodybuilding. What's it? Is it bodybuilding?
Bodybuilding, yeah.
For women competing, yeah, bodybuilding, stuff like that. They do got the size, but ask them how long it took. Ask them, it took eating, I mean, probably thousands of calories and years of training to get that size. And I say that so that, any women hearing this, like, don't be scared to lift some heavy weights and eat some food. You're not going to get...
It's so funny.
They're
crazy, like,
bulky
I
look.
don't want to do upper body. I mean, you train women, so how many days do they want to do lower and glutes and legs? That's all they want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Always.
You talk to them and they're like, oh, no, I can't lift that. I wish I can do that and get bulky. You know how hard I train to get bulky?
Yeah.
Like, how hard and how long it takes me. So it gets frustrating when people say that and when you're coaching and trying to teach people because they're just so stuck in the ways, and especially within the whole nutrition thing. If they were to teach us how to properly eat in school, no one would be sick.
No, they gave us, I don't know about you, when I was in school, they gave us milk with cheeseburgers. Yeah. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Or just proper nutrition on how to gain weight, how to lose weight, how to be in a deficit, how to be in a surplus. Just basic nutrition information that we don't know. And, how to gain muscle by eating more protein. So things like that, it's like, I don't know, it's all a business.
So your first show, you got first, second. Your second show, you got third. Your third show, you got fifth. And then your fourth show, you got pro?
Yes.
So having the fourth show.
Fourth show. And that was crazy because that was with my now coach. And so I've had 2 coaches.
Same team?
Same team,
okay.
Yes. And so now I started my prep with my coach that I'm currently with I started this year. Last year. We're talking past tense. So 2024 January is when I started my next prep. And I got with my current coach in March of 2024. So in April, she gives me a random call because we have a show planned for June. And not even really planned because, again, in this sport, you can tentatively plan a show, but you never know how your body's going to react. So we don't say, we don't really put too many dates on it because, again, your hormones are affected right now. Your food, your weight fluctuates. There's a lot of factors that happens. So she calls me around like April. She's like, hey, how are you feeling? I'm like, good. You never know. When your coach calls you, you're like, what's going on? Is there something wrong with my body? Like, what's going on? So she's like, hey, what do you think about doing a show? And I was like, yeah, we're doing June, right? And she's like, well, no, what do you think about hopping into this show? It was in Charleston. It was the very first national show of the year. And national shows are where you win your pro card.
Yeah. And
there's only 9 a year. So I'm like, okay, when's that? She goes, 2 weeks. And I was like, what? Expect just how you looked. I'm like, what do you mean 2 weeks? And she's like, yeah, why not? And so again, you hire a coach for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I trust my coach. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. You think I'm ready? Let's go. We showed up and everything was so smooth after that call. When I say I found flights easily, the host hotel, so where the show's going to be, a lot of people like to say at the host hotel, it's more convenient, it's easy. The host hotel was available. The flights were cheap. The makeup artist was there that I wanted. Just everything was flowing in order, right? And so we get there, again, a smooth check-in process. Just everything's all good and we're chilling. I'm like, this doesn't feel like any other show. Like show days are hectic and it can get really stressful. So everything was flowing well. We did the show that day. I placed first in my class, obviously. So that was actually, I'll tell you a little bit about that show. That first national show is a harder one because typically, like my previous national shows, if you place first, you get your pro card. If you place first or second at the second show, that's Universe, you get your pro card. At the show that I did, you have to not only win your class, but then you have to go up against all the other class winners. So it was a tough show. So I won my class, and then I had to go up against 9 other girls from the other classes. And then they picked top 4. So I ended up getting my pro card at that show. And it was crazy because, again, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't even planning on going. I just found out about it 2 weeks ago. So sometimes you just got to go with it. And you never know in life. So
I like what you said. You hired your coach for a reason, so you trusted them.
Yes.
For anybody out there listening that has a coach in whatever field you're in, a fitness coach, a business coach, podcast coach, whatever.
Yeah.
You're paying the money. Let them do their job and just trust what they do.
Yeah.
The responsibility falls on them. They led you down that path. You trusted them. It works and it doesn't work, whatever, but just trust your coaches.
Yeah.
There's no point of hiring them, paying the money if you're going to be fucking hard-headed. It's crazy to me sometimes when people, when they do stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
With the bodybuilding, I'm sure during the period of like cutting and just when it's crunch time for the show, how was it when you have a partner?
Oh, okay. So that's a good.
Because I'll say this, for
subject.
when I was doing mine, when I was about to do it, the coach I had, he was telling me, he was like, bro, good thing you're single and this and that right now, because it's going to get, obviously hectic. How was that like situation or dynamic?
So I do have a partner and it was tough, honestly, because again, we're foodies and, we actually live on the Strip, Las Vegas. So like we're used to going right down the street. We go right across the street to Fontainebleau. We go right to Resorts World, and it's our lifestyle. We act like we're tourists. We shouldn't, but whatever. So it's super convenient. We love food. I was a food critic growing up in high school. So I used to write papers. I'd go to restaurants and then I'd write paper reviews on that restaurant. Yeah. So ever since then, I've always been into like going to new restaurants, seeing how it is so I can kind of critique it and review it and get something new. And we're both like that. So it was tough because, again, he doesn't bodybuild. And when you decide that you want to do a show, that's kind of your decision. It's going to get tough. It's hard. It's mentally and physically tough, but you decided to do that. So you can't really expect, the other person's going to support you.
Yeah.
But you can't expect them to be on the same schedule as you at the end of the day, because they didn't choose to do it. So it was tough because, again, during prep, it depends. I won for a reason because I'm disciplined. I'm sticking to my prep. I'm not the one. Some people don't really do as well in their prep. They still go out. They still eat this. They still eat that. I was structured and disciplined and eating my whole foods, and I wasn't going out. So from January to June, that's a long time, 6 months. Yeah. I'm in the house. I can't tell him if he wants to go out. Well, you can't go out because I'm in prep.
Yeah.
That's not really fair, So there's issues like that come up. It's like you guys need to have a mutual respect. If he's going to respect or support me with what I'm doing, then kind of have some respect for him too. Like you can't expect him to sit in the house, and if he wants to go out, then let him go out. Have fun.
When you guys had like date night or anything like that, were you bringing your chicken
Oh,
and
yeah.
your baggies and stuff like that?
Yeah. So if I had to go out, I would, obviously. Like sometimes there's times where you need to just say, you know what? So like, for instance, movie theaters.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of hard because the popcorn smell, but
That smell, it's crazy. I don't even like
smell.
popcorn,
Oh, I
but
love
I went to the
popcorn.
movies more recently to see what Gladiator, or something, I think it was. And as soon as that smell hits, I'm like, I don't even like hot dogs either.
Oh,
But then the smell, and I'm like, bro,
like why not?
the people, whoever put the chemicals in this shit, they know what the fuck they doing. Cause I don't even like hot dogs, but that shit, that smell, you come in there and it's like, bro, I'll get both.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's funny though that you say that because I actually like going to movies for the food.
Okay.
Again, big foodie. So popcorn, I don't even eat hot dogs because why?
Yeah.
But at the movies, it's like essential. So anyway, so movies, instead of popcorn, I take like rice cakes and I take my chicken breast and I'll make sure I eat a full meal before leaving out. So you're not hungry, you know, you're not too tempted. And then also depending on where you're at in your prep, again, it's a habit. So after a certain amount of time, you don't even crave those things. You don't want it because you're so on track with what you're doing. And you know, if you eat that, it's going to fuck my stomach up. I'm not going to feel good. I'm going to feel bloated. I'm going to feel miserable. And then I'm going to get depressed because it's that mental part where it's like, oh, I let myself down,
Yep.
you know? So again, movies, I take like rice cakes. That's similar to popcorn. I take like dark chocolate to think that I'm, you know, eating something. And then if I go to a restaurant, I'm going to order a steak, veggies, and a potato because that's all whole foods. And I could easily track that. If I'm very close, like I'm 2-3 weeks out from a show, there's no going out.
Yeah.
And if I absolutely have to, of course, I'm taking my own food and the scale. So
I like what you said about the food of how you're gonna feel. And when it comes to nutrition and stuff like that, people who are trying to eat better out there, like think about that. How do you want to feel?
Yep.
Because and some of us aren't aware enough.
Nope.
To where we're so used to eating a certain way, especially probably when you're back in your processed food days, to where you might not notice, like, damn, I do get a little sluggish when I eat that pizza, whatever, or the itis, shit like that. It's like you shouldn't always feel like that.
No, it's so normalized. Like people don't know. They're not aware. And I actually just made like a TikTok on that the other day because I'm like, you're eating this, you're lazy after, you're tired, you're sluggish, you're bloated all the time. Why do I always feel bad after I eat? Well, what are you eating? You know, when I work with women that I'm like coaching and, you know, teaching them about nutrition, switching things to whole foods, the first thing they say, like, oh yeah, I have so much more energy naturally. You don't need to drink coffee and you shouldn't need to drink, well, coffee's, you know, all of us drink coffee, but you shouldn't be taking down 3 to 4 energy drinks a day. That's not normal. Why are you doing that? How's your sleep? You know, how is your diet? So how you feel is huge and it all stems from what you eat. And yeah,
that's a great point because it's the nutrition part of things. Like I said, we're so used to certain ways. I know for me, and one thing I noticed too is like when you go periods of time eating, I guess in the word, I don't want to say cleaner, but just right.
Yeah.
And then you do have, let's say you go like, a good amount of time. And that one day or so you go out and you do have pizza, you'll see your body react a little differently. Parts might be a little more funky or whatever. Because I know for me, there was a period where I was like, I like to get at home for the most part, but here and now and then I'll eat something out that I just know is fire. And I know it ain't good, but I know it's fire. Best believe that morning I wake up, mud butt.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I'm like, bruh, what?
Like,
and
why?
And but then I take note, like, okay, I got to be careful when I decide to eat that kind of way.
Yep.
And something else you said that was great was sleep. I personally feel the number one thing you can do to improve your health is your sleep.
Yes.
Because I've noticed this cycle that happens with people. They don't get good sleep. So they wake up in the morning.
Yep.
And what's the first thing they do? Coffee, right?
And donuts or
or nothing.
Junk or nothing.
They'll get coffee, right? So they'll get coffee to get energy, right? Yep. But then what happens is that coffee suppresses your appetite. So now
and they don't eat.
You don't eat.
Yep.
So now it's 10, 11 o'clock.
Right.
You need another coffee. So now you're getting off work.
Yep.
You're getting off work. You haven't eaten all day. You're starved.
Yep.
So on the way home,
what do you
that's
grab?
the worst thing you can do is when you're starved because you eat anything. On the way home, you're going to drive through.
Yep.
You're going to get whatever's fast because you're starved.
Yep.
And then now you're eating bad food. Now as you go to sleep, it's not digesting the right way because it's bullshit. So now you're not sleeping.
Yep.
And you're stuck in that fucking cycle.
Yep.
Because I've seen people where I'm like, bro, it's 7 a.m. and you need pre-workout. No disrespect if you do, but I'm like, you just woke up. Why do you need pre-workout? You should be energized.
Right.
But
get 2-3 hours of sleep. And then, like you said, it's just people they look at me sometimes, they're like, oh, you're still eating? or they don't think I eat much because I'm so small. So
Yeah.
it'll be two things. They'll be like, oh, you don't eat that much, huh? And I'm like, I probably eat way more than you.
Yeah.
And then when I'm around some people, they're like, oh, you still got, I have my meals laid out. They're like, oh, you still got all that food to eat? Yeah. I eat 5 to 6 times a day. So it's just the whole, like I said.
When you're out with your friends or anybody, do you ever get the, I don't want to say jokes, but they'll be like, oh, can you have this? Or people act weird around you? Like, don't judge me.
Yeah.
Bro, I'd be
absolutely.
like, I'm not on the clock. You're not my paying client.
Right.
I don't care what you do. Like, let me enjoy my thing over here.
Yeah.
But I kind of hate it. So people out there, stop doing that to people who work out or eat different.
Literally.
Like, shut your big ass up.
No, literally. And that's what I say. I'm like, well, that's why you look like that and I look like this. So if you want to say something smart, I'm going to say something smart.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And it's true, though, because they just don't understand it. They're like, oh, can you have that? I say, I can have whatever I want because I track my macros and I know exactly what I'm consuming. So if I know my set calories and if I know my set macronutrients, if it fits, why couldn't I have it? I just eat less of it, unlike you.
What are some things you've noticed with the women you do coach when it comes to the fitness? Like one of the biggest things they struggle with and that you like to help them over, get through?
I really think it's food. It's hard. Yeah. And again, that was my struggle. And I'm like want to pivot more to just coaching nutrition in a way because it's way more than what people think it is. They always assume, oh, I need to get in shape. Let me go buy a membership. Like, no. Don't even do that. Don't waste your time or money. First of all, you're probably going to go for a little bit and stop. Mm-hmm. Second of all, diet and nutrition is 80%. It's almost everything.
Yeah.
And they just don't see it. That, and then I'd say like staying consistent. Because, even you as a trainer, you probably have to constantly push people. People are motivated for a few weeks, a couple months, but then, like weight fluctuates. They think that, oh, I'm not losing anything. I'm not making progress. And no, your body composition is changing. And that's things that they don't understand,
Yeah,
because
people get so obsessed with the scale.
Obsessed with the scale. And it's like, you can't, especially like you said, body transformations takes a long time. It's not going to take you 90, 30 days, quick fixes.
Yeah, like body composition example. Like I said, I was 200 pounds, 8%.
Yeah.
200 pounds, 25%. Completely different look, same weight. Oh, bro, I was so uncomfortable. I hate having to go to work. Then I was a fitness coach, so I just felt like a fat fuck. And I'm like, I'm training my clients, and in my head, I'm like, little does she know, I'm about to order these donuts tonight. Right. Like, and some of them knew. Like, I would tell them and express, because it got scary to where I had a friend one time. I told her, hey, look, I'm going through it. I need you to call me at 7 p.m. Because that's
make sure I'm not ordering.
Make sure I'm ordering, because that's when I order. She let me down. And I ordered that shit up.
The fact that you had a time schedule.
It was crazy. It was like clockwork. I was looking at my orders, and in that month, that was March. Probably when you were prepping. No, it was 2022. 22 March.
Okay.
March, April. My account for Uber Eats, bro. I think I spent at least $500 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was eating like I said, it was 8 weeks of just. This dude had me doing. He just told me to do a certain amount of meals, whatever. I did the calorie, bro. I was eating like 1,500 or 1,600 calories. And I was doing cardio in the morning.
1,600. Oh, that's very low for
I'm
you
a male,
as a male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was doing 30 minutes in the morning cardio, and then 30 minutes in the afternoon. And when you're on that, but I'm on that stuff, so I'm like, I didn't feel nothing.
Yeah.
And then when I thought about it, I'm like, that's why I was so deprived. My body was 1,500 calories. That's like,
or something.
Yeah. And then I got so locked into where I will say this: it gave me a lot of discipline.
Yes.
And everything else around my life got structured.
Yes.
It helped me stop drinking.
Yes.
And that continued till now, 3 years now. And
nice.
Yeah. And I spoke about this with another friend. Like, when you get your fitness routine in order, the rest of your life almost gets structured. Like, especially if you're in prep, you don't got time for date night often. No. You don't got time for friends just going out just to go out.
Nope.
You're locked in on, I want good sleep, so I'm going to bed early. I want to wake up early.
Sleep, yep.
I want to eat a certain way. So it's like, no time for bullshit. Work.
No time for anything. And when you're in prep, you only have a set amount of energy. So your calories are getting low. You said you were 15, 16.
Bro, crazy.
My calories were, maybe the lowest was about like 11, maybe around 1,000 to 1,100. So the lowest my carbs got was 100 grams. And if you don't know about, carb, that's very low. My fats were 15, very low. So
Damn.
my energy when you're in prep, I only have time for my training, my food, my work if I have to work, grocery shopping, and I still have to cook, meal prep. Anything else, I don't have time for. Like I literally don't have the energy for. Let me just put it that way. Like I can't physically, mentally, I'm drained after those priorities are done.
I remember when he would implement and tell me like, oh, you can have a tablespoon of peanut butter.
Bro, treat.
That peanut butter, that tablespoon, and when you weigh it, tablespoon is not a lot, peanut butter. And I remember I used to, that's why I'm so glad. I wish more coaches understand, or people, coaches more specifically, to get a coach at some point. Because I know how it feels when I do some shit that I wasn't supposed to do, and I get that shame where I don't want to see my coach. Because I remember when I had to tell him one night when I didn't eat what I was supposed to, and I went in on the peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
I had like 16 tablespoons. And I told him, he was like, well, why would you do that? And I'm like, fuck, you feel like a dog, like just.
Right.
So that's why now when I have my clients and I get it when it happens, they have that day where they kind of, whatever reason, I try to make them, like I said, feel safe and comfortable, like it's good, like it's not that deep.
Yes.
And anybody else in fitness, like it's okay to have those days unless you're preparing to become a bodybuilder or do a show.
Yeah.
Your fitness and nutrition doesn't need to be so crazy because everybody thinks they have to weigh everything specifically. And they have to do all these specific things. Yeah. And if you want to get to that point, cool. But it's like if you've never worked out or you haven't worked out in a while and you haven't eaten good in a while, there's no point of just slamming and trying to count every single thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't even have the habit of eating regular food yet.
No, yeah.
So get the habit of eating regular food, and then, down the line you can dial in. There was something I was going to fucking tell you.
It's like going 0 to 100 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
How sustainable is that?
It's not. You pull a rubber band.
Yeah.
Too hard, it snaps back hard as shit.
Yeah.
And I hope the people listening understand when you go into your fitness in this new year, 2025,
oh man, is
to take those smaller steps and just, like she said, eat whole foods. Like start that in the new year. My goal, I would give you a goal. If you're looking to get in shape 2025, 3 days out the week, eat whole foods.
All whole foods.
That sounds crazy, right? But it's only 3 days. Let's see if your ass could do it for a whole month. Because some people might think 3 days, that's it. That's not going to do anything. It's 3 days of whole foods that you're not doing.
Right. Yep.
After January, take it to 4. After February, take it to 5.
Exactly.
You don't need to fucking do this whole, I'm going to go. That's the craziest thing to me. I might sound crazy, but I personally believe people who are new or getting back into it, meal prepping is holding them back. Let me explain. You're going from not doing it to seeing some shit on Instagram on Jasmine's page. Oh, I'm going to do chicken rice and this and that. After a week, you're going to be over it. Because you're not used to it. You're trying to do something that doesn't fit your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Instead of just, what? Let me cook all my meals at home this week.
Right.
Make that a part of who you are.
Right.
And then later on, you can obviously get more
creative. It's like taking baby steps. You have to set realistic goals. And that's why people fail, because they're not setting realistic goals. They're like, oh, again, 0 to 100 real quick. How sustainable is that? It's not. It's like that's why the motivation phase will last for 2 to 4, maybe 5 weeks. And then people start falling back. They're like, oh, I don't know. Because you went too hard. You didn't set realistic goals. Start eating whole foods 3 days. Start going on walks. Walks. I went on a walk all week. Nice. Now next week, I'm going to go to the gym all week. Now you're doing walks and the gym. Look at you. Now next week I'm gonna do whole foods. Now you're walking, you're going to the gym, and you're doing whole foods.
Yeah.
So it's like setting those goals, taking baby steps. We didn't walk before, we crawled first, right?
That's it.
And then we walked, and then we ran.
That's my favorite analogy to use with people is the idea of a baby. I never had one.
Me neither.
I don't have one.
I never had one.
I don't have one, but to my knowledge, most babies start walking around 7, 8, 9 months. And I always tell people this, like, think about that baby. Like, look at it. It went from just moving its head,
right,
to now sitting up,
literally steps,
crawls,
yes,
takes little steps,
and falls,
but still goes,
because
it knows no better. It's not worried about anything. It just sees you happy as a mom or parent, but it keeps going.
Yep.
And I tell like, give yourself that same period of time to do something that you gave yourself when you were a baby. You didn't know no better. 7 to 9 months of doing something. Fucking up, but still doing it.
And it's the same analogy. Like, give that guy, give that girl the one you give all those chances to, give it to yourself,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the main one I could have someone relate to.
I didn't know where you were going to go with it first. I thought you were going to say, give that person 7, 8, 9 months, keep fucking up.
No,
I
I mean, that's what they're doing, essentially,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, as much time and energy you put in that person, why don't
Yeah.
you? It's like people don't put into themselves enough. They give up, and we're based in this time where like instant gratification is the thing. I don't know why, but you know, when it comes to fitness, that's one thing that really taught me patience. And you know, like you have to put the work in. No one's going to do it for you. And it's not something that you can get handed down to. I can't get handed down to a nice body.
No.
It's all on me. If I want it, then go get it.
Are there any
So,
you think misconceptions they have about women in bodybuilding or even just as a fitness person?
misconceptions, probably just, you know, the whole like super bulky, or just people don't even really know what bodybuilding is, the whole sport.
Yeah.
Like when I first told my mom, she was like, oh my gosh, no, wait, why are you going to get so big? And I'm like, first of all, there's different divisions.
Yeah.
And I mean, people that do that, they like that look
Yeah.
and they get hooked on certain looks. So I had to explain like, okay, well, this division is what I'm in. And, you know, when she finally came to a show, my parents came to a show, they were like, oh my gosh, what is, people just don't know what
Yeah.
it is, you know? So that I'd say just like that everyone's big just because they don't know better. They
Yeah.
don't know the different divisions, the different, you know, what it takes. People think you have to, because I know like back in the day, there was a lot of things where like you have to cut water, cut salt or sodium and just do all these hardcore things and able to compete or show day or something like that. And I didn't do any of that. So it's just about, again, having a good coach, having someone that doesn't just want to push stuff on you just to get on stage. And also just knowing that, yeah, you don't have to just take all these things. You know, there's a lot of shit out there. But again, you need to stand true to what you want to do, you know, and know, okay, am I doing this because I want to do it? And do I want to be competitive? Do I want to get here? Or am I just doing a show? Just do whatever you want, you know? So I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff online and people get stuff in their head and like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. But it's like, no, just do whatever you want to do. You know?
I mean, social media plays a huge part in our influence, everything we do.
Yeah. So
Fitness, everything we do. There's something about it on Instagram we saw or something we look like, oh shit, I want to do that too. And you know, those of you out there, when it comes to the fitness, whoever person you like, whoever it is you inspire to look like, or whoever motivates you, vet them a little bit. See what they're really about. Don't just because they look a certain way think like that's the one that knows everything. That person might have done that the most unhealthiest way. They might be on Ozempic and not tell you. They might have got a BBL and not told you. Those are two of the things I see on social media all the time. And then they sell programs, get your booty like this.
Yeah.
Like, nah, girl, you went to Dr. Miami.
Yeah.
Like, relax. Like, no.
No, literally, and your butt will never look like that.
It won't.
So,
it won't. And it
it's
takes time. Like, and all you fake influencers out there, just stop it, bro. I see right through you. Like, it's unfair to people who really care about the profession.
Right.
And then the clients who are looking for help.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You're trying to sell them this dream, like, 30 days, you're gonna get this booty. Girl, no. You went paid $500 in Colombia. Like, what? No, be real. Like, be honest.
No, literally.
And I support the people who are honest about, like, hey, I did do a Ozempic or I did do a BBL.
Right.
But blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But it's rare. And then it's
honest.
so saturated online too.
Yeah.
If I was personally looking for a coach online, I'd be fed up because
it's
overwhelmed,
crazy.
you know, because it's so much information people are throwing you. And then what's real? What's false? Who do I believe? Who's really telling the truth? Who even knows what they're talking about?
Yeah.
People have the idea nowadays. It's like, oh, if I'm in the gym working out, I should be a coach.
I'm glad you said that.
Does not mean you
It
should
doesn't.
be
It's
a
a whole
coach,
different ball game because, you know, you can love working out, you can love whatever. Like, I love fucking playing basketball on the weekends. I'm not gonna go try for the Lakers. Like, you know what I mean? You love playing Monopoly, doesn't mean you're gonna go spend your money on other shit.
Right.
And it's the same thing. It's like you love working out, but when it comes to coaching people, it's so much more than just you're doing this workout. You're doing, bro, especially on
You're a therapist.
as a man.
Yeah.
I coach women, so it's like, bro, they gang up on me.
Yep.
They, you know, that time of the month comes.
Oh,
I got to
yeah.
make sure I'm, you know, addressing them the right way and talking the right way and be more understanding.
Empathy and all that.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Like,
It's deep.
It's so much more than just, hey, you're gonna do these work. The workout part is probably the last part of it.
That's
to be
probably
honest.
the easiest part.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, literally.
But getting them to understand and getting them to want to do the stuff on their own, getting them to want to keep showing up because it's hard. And so those of you out there, just because you like to work out doesn't mean you need to be a fitness coach.
No.
Like, stop it for real. Because you can work yourself out. That doesn't mean, like Michael Jordan, he ain't a basketball coach. One of the greatest players ever.
And he's a
Kobe
great
Bryant was a great basketball coach, didn't want to coach. Tom Brady, all the greats, because and part of it's also because you can't always get everybody to do it how you do. You know what I mean? They're not gonna have the same mindset.
Yeah. And then also it just throws, like, it gives a bad perception kind of, you know, like you had a bad coach. So that could have took your mind somewhere else and said, you know what, fuck this training. I'm not training no more. I'm never getting a coach again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't know what they're talking about. You know, so they're kind of giving out a bad perception on other coaches that could actually be good or know what they're talking about, but it's just they're over it. So
on the flip side, though, I will say, if you are thinking about being a coach, be true to yourself. Like, be your kind of coach that you want. Don't think because somebody looks a certain way or somebody has this and that you can't be as effective. I had one of my newer clients. She had a trainer for about 1.5 years before she came to me, and she was telling me how she's like, it's so crazy how different your guys' Instagrams are. He's a bodybuilder. His is all him. Yours is all your podcast and motivation. And I'm like, it just shows.
Right.
People are going to resonate with you for whatever reason. They're going to resonate with Jazz because she is a bodybuilder. They're going to resonate with Megan because she does Pilates. And whatever the case may be. So if you're thinking about being a coach, be who you want to be. Don't let social media make you think you got to have abs and fucking do backflips and all the, bro, the shit I see sometimes. I see people doing
Fitness
adult
people.
PE, bro. It's so crazy. It's like that's how you're going to get hurt.
Right.
Doing a bunch of just quick, fast, and jump and do this.
Agility work.
Bro, yeah. You trying to get in shape or you trying to travel with the Sparks? Like, what is it? Is LA Sparks still a team? Yeah, it's a women's team. I meant to say Aces. So we're going to wrap up here in a second. I'll ask you a few questions. What is a character in a movie or book you can relate to?
Oh, that's a hard one. A character. So books, I only watch. I mean, I'm sorry.
Book,
I only
movie, TV show, anything that you can think of. Like, I kind of relate to that person in that movie or whatever. I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
So for me, I said this before, but I'm like Will Smith and I Am Legend. I just feel like I'm out here trying to save the world from the zombies and just, you know what I mean? And just, that's it. But that's kind of an example of it, like a person in a certain movie that maybe you kind of felt like you feel them.
No. What is the movie? I'm bad at this. I'm sorry, because like I watch movies, but it's usually like comedies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Excuse me.
What's my favorite?
Who would you say for her?
I know you want to help me out. I was just trying to think. I watch stupid stuff like Hangover over and over. Like, so like,
she's the woman who doesn't watch no movies or
watch TV.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm very disciplined. Like,
So you just read books?
I'm like, yo, let's watch a movie.
And if it's books, it's like discipline, motivation. How do I get
shit,
ahead?
you locked in.
Yeah, I'm
Damn.
locked in. I'm just like
you need
that.
to go be a Navy SEAL.
So
that's what you need to do. You read a Goggins book?
yeah,
David Goggins?
I have it at home. I haven't read that one
Both
yet,
his
but-
books are fire. I saw him at the gym one time.
Oh,
Yeah, I was training a client in this place called Summit, and he was like, bro, David Goggins is here. I'm like, what? And I walked in, I saw him.
Oh. That guy's intense.
Yeah, I wanted to go up, but I'm like, I'm not
Gosh.
going to be a fan. I'll see him again in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, that's good.
how
That's
I
okay.
am.
Another question I have is,
Yeah.
what's something you're currently struggling with that nobody knows?
Oh, currently struggling with. I think I'm always struggling with, just because I am one of those like a type A person, and then just super hard on myself. Just, I never feel like I'm doing enough. So yeah, I don't know.
What do you think that comes
I feel
from?
like, I don't know. Just hard on myself. Like, I feel like I either need to be doing more, or I think I'm just like such of a leader person. So like people will look in, they probably think like, oh, this girl got it together. Like, she's always doing something. Like, every time I talk to her, it's something new. And sometimes I don't see it. So I think that would be the only thing. I don't know really where it stems from. I think it's just me. Like,
Was your
as a-
father in your life?
Yeah.
Your mom?
Yeah.
How's the relationship with them?
It's okay. Communication wasn't too good, like growing up and stuff. So I would say communication, which I feel like I'm getting better at that. But just the whole thing of like just me not thinking I'm doing enough ever.
Yeah, there's definitely something deeper there. You know what I mean?
I feel like I need to talk to a therapist. We all need therapy,
Get a coach.
but yeah.
Get a coach. A coach, I mean, I haven't been in therapy to compare the two, but just off what they can do and stuff. I definitely think a coach would help you just open that up, and because something like that, cause I'm the same way too. So I always feel like I gotta do a charity event. I gotta do this. I gotta do.
Yeah.
When it comes down to me, my dad wasn't in my life. So it was like, I'm always searching for that gratitude or a sense of belonging or that.
Like fulfillment in a way.
Yeah.
And I know the whole coaching, like that'll fulfill me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm supposed to be here to lead and to teach and to help others.
A good book I'll
that
recommend
way.
to you for communication, game changer. It'll help you in anything, relationships, business, everything. It's called Crucial Conversations.
Okay. Crucial Conversations.
And then they have a book right after called Crucial Accountability.
Okay.
So it teaches you how to keep people accountable,
Yeah.
but in the right way.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different. Like,
Right.
Jazz, you said you're going to fucking do this. So why didn't you do it? That ain't work for everybody. You know what I mean? So it teaches you how to kind of approach them
Right.
in a safe way.
Oh, that's
But
a
still,
good one.
Man, I'm telling you.
That's good too, because like working with people, like
Yes,
I said, you got to learn how to
you
talk
have
to
to learn.
everyone.
Because a lot of the issues come with emotions.
Yeah.
You know, we have a plan how we're going to talk, but then they say something that pisses us off, we fucking lose it. And now we're back and forth.
And then it's hard too, because I'm hard on myself and I'm very disciplined and structured. So I feel like when people aren't that way, it's annoying. And I'm like, that's everybody though.
Yeah.
Almost. So it's like, okay, I got to calm the tone down and just understand, like I'm getting better with gratitude and writing that out daily. And
There you go.
you know, that helps obviously for me when I'm feeling that I'm not doing enough or whatever. I can always look back and say like, well, no, on this date you accomplished this, or you were thankful for this, and you know, you're thankful for that. Every day there's something to look for, to be thankful for. Like today, I'm on a podcast for the first time.
Hey.
So it's just like, you know,
that's a great year to start. Great way to start the new year.
Yeah. So
as we wrap up here, I'm going to ask you a question. You know, what's a quote you live by and why?
all these hard questions. I mean, that shouldn't be too hard, but I'm just like,
Yeah, it could be. It don't have to be nothing crazy like that Obama said. I always use Obama. I don't know why.
What's a quote I live
Or
by?
a saying that your parents told you or your partner tells you when you're fucking feeling fucked up. You're like, okay, something that's gonna help motivate somebody in this new year.
I mean, I like the one that I said earlier. You know, you're not always going to be in the mood or have motivation, so it's always like stick to the plan, fuck your mood. I love that. And then also just, I don't know if it's not really a quote, but something my mom always told me, like when I was young, growing up. It's like she always said, "Say what you want, and then go get it." Like there's no reason why you should never be able to. There's always something to do. There's always something to improve on and work on. If you want something, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get it. So you say what you want, you can write it down, whatever, stick to it and just go get it. So
That's fire.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Jazz, for coming down here, taking time out of your schedule. You dropped some nuggets. I think it's very dope to have a professional female bodybuilder, a black one at that also.
I can't even really tell that I'm a bodybuilder sitting down, like.
But that just shows that, you know,
trying to flex.
we're gonna have to do poses over here real quick. But no, I truly appreciate you. I think women, I want to have more women on here are killing it in a male-dominated field, and other women that watch this to see like, oh, I can go lift weights. I'm not gonna look like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. So yeah, definitely appreciate you sharing the gems and being your first podcast. That's fucking amazing. It's 2025.
Yes.
Let's get to it.
Let's go.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Bamboo Season Podcast. I'm going to tag her Instagram in the description. It's simple. 2025 is here. I got 4 words for you. Keep going. Keep growing.
Yes.
Don't let anything stop you. This is your year. I said that 3 years ago. And the last 3 years have been my year, depending on who you ask.
Right.
Don't doubt yourself. Don't be scared to start small. Play big, baby. I already said the 4 words. All right. We out.